600 CFM, 145 mile an hour wind, a trigger that will go from 0 to full throttle in under 1 second. It takes any two M18 batteries that you have. The runtime on this is pretty good, and it moves leaves like you can't imagine. We're gonna go over this blower top to bottom. Stay tuned. Milwaukee's Dual Battery Blower can be purchased in a kit, or it can be purchased as a bare tool, and then you supply any two M18 batteries that are out there. And I'd highly suggest that you use this tool with 5 amp hour batteries and up. 5 amp hour probably being the minimum I'd run, although we do currently have two 2 amp hour batteries in here now. It still performs quite well, and you can see the fuel gauge that's up here on the top. Pretty cool way of putting this together, but two 2 amp hour batteries are going to severely decrease your runtime. As we found in a well-rounded use, not just going out full throttle all the time, probably full throttle 80% of the time, and then working around beds with lighter throttle use, you're going to get about 20 minutes of runtime out of two fully charged 8 amp hour batteries. That's going to equate to about 2.5 minutes per amp hour used, so you can do the math. If you run two 12 amp hour batteries, you're going to end up with 30 minutes of runtime in a well-rounded use. If you're going to use this in a commercial sense, you're going to have some batteries going on a charger almost at all times and just kind of circle them around. But at the same point in time, commercial guys probably aren't going to use this completely to blow out a yard. In my case, I'm just using this around our cabin, trying to get all the leaves away from the driveway, and then I later use it to kind of push them into the woods, and it does a tremendous job. Starting out in the beginning, I had a little bit of a hard time getting used to the trigger. Don't worry, your finger will get used to that very sensitive trigger pretty quickly, and you'll be able to easily drop down and use this in the beds or in any other place that you have landscaping where you don't want full throttle. But in the beginning, I was pretty jumpy with that trigger. While using this, the displayed fuel gauge is absolutely amazing because you know exactly where you're at all times, and you also have a slide for the cruise control, which is perfect. It has a nice gauge in here to show you what's going on as far as how much trigger is pulled. Let's just take a look at that with one of the batteries out. So that white line delineates how much trigger or throttle you have pushed. That is full throttle right there, and you can just use it and let it do its thing there. Absolutely amazing. As we talked about with the trigger, there is not a lot of pull, but quite a bit. So once you get into it, it takes a little bit to get it started, but from there, you can quickly go up to full throttle. And balance of this guy with the two heavier batteries in it, 2 8 amp hours or even 12s, is perfect. I love that I have the balance in the back 3 fingers. So using this with 2 smaller batteries is obviously going to give you a really short runtime, and it's not going to be the most balanced. It was designed for heavier batteries in the back, and it gives you that perfect angle down towards the ground, and you're ready to rock and roll. I love that part of this, that you're not carrying around as much weight as you might some very high voltage blowers, and the weight of the tool is also pretty light, so you can move it around easy and you have a lot less fatigue. I don't have a lot of experience using these tubes. I do know this one gives you a little bit more of a direct blowing pattern, and they just simply slide on and lock in place, which is very nice. I like how easy it is. This one is going to give you a little bit more flat blowing pattern here, and it too is just going to slide on, lock in place, push those 2 levers, pull off. Super simple operation, and if you do need them, they come with the bare tool or kit. Overall, I had a great experience with this blower. It's a little bit longer than the single battery blower, so I was able to get it closer to the ground. Being a bit taller, fatigue was no issue. Even carrying 2 larger batteries around, that's absolutely not a worry. In the beginning, I thought, well, I'm carrying an extra battery. But the reality of it is you're carrying 40 volts here. How many 40 volt, 58 volt, 56 volt, 80 volt blowers are out there? you don't think about how much weight you're carrying around in batteries, and this one is actually pretty light compared to many. Runtime is right on par with many of the other blowers that are out there. Power is pretty much on par with everything else out there. I absolutely enjoy it. I like having the battery fuel meter right up top so I can see it. I know when I'm getting low, and 20 to 30 minutes for me is pretty much enough time for me to be behind a blower that I'm done with blowing leaves at that point and can move on to something else. Again, that's more of a home use, and a contractor use might be similar. You're gonna have to gauge that out if you can get into battery operated leaf blowers. Overall, I love having the ability of picking up my Milwaukee batteries and getting into something that is very powerful and getting the job done, putting them back on the charger, and then figuring out what Milwaukee tool I might pick up next. That to me, staying in the same battery platform and having the ability to get up to 12 amp hour batteries at this point in time, just, it works. This is a great purchase, a great addition to anyone who's out there in the Milwaukee platform. This dual battery stuff is something that I'm actually getting into a lot, and I enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Give us a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.